Good evening, my non-existent viewers. I'm here today in my apartment. It is a Tuesday night. It's election day, November 8th. And I've filmed 2 videos in my new apartment here in Nebraska, but I never actually gave you guys a full tour of my small little 1-bedroom apartment. So this is my bedroom, and there's my restroom right there. And there's the entrance, and yeah, here's the living room. It's got my Xbox right there. I'm really happy that it came with this TV. It came fully furnished too. There's my little desk and my table, I should say, and there's my kitchen. So it's a Tuesday night, and I usually go to the movies on Tuesdays because I'm a big fan of, discounted movie tickets. Like most movie theaters, will give you a much better price to go to movies on Tuesday, but there's no new releases this weekend. None of the films I haven't seen already that really tickle my fancy, at least. So instead of seeing a movie and making a movie review for you guys tonight, today's election day, and this is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. I am almost done with my 3rd week interning at the Riverside Discovery Center. It's the small zoo, if my camera will just focus. It's the tiny zoo that I have been interning at for the past 3 weeks. I'm gonna be here in Nebraska for an internship until the end of January, and there I've met a lot of high school interns, kids that get out of class for this internship, to help out around the zoo. And they're not old enough to vote yet, so I've been giving this word of advice to them, and I figured I should give it to you guys as well. That when they are old enough to vote, that don't let someone else bully you or pressure you or try to guilt trip you or fearmonger or scare you into thinking the same way that they do. You need to find your own enlightenment, so to speak. For anyone who's wondering, I did not get the chance to vote today, not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't. I've only been in Nebraska for a few weeks, so I never really took the initiative to even try to register to vote in this state. I cover all kinds of topics on, my channel, TVB9, whether it's movies or video games or music or animals or just funny, silly randomness. But political stuff usually isn't one of them. But when it is, 2 years ago, I made a video, right after Biden became president, I just talked about my thoughts on that whole election. And a week or 2 before I filmed that video back in 2020, I promised myself that whenever I would talk about politics or hot button issues on my channel, I would do it in a as neutral way as humanly possible. Because I will say this, my first election year where I was old enough to vote was 2016. I did make a handful of videos before Trump became president that, in all honesty, I don't think have aged very well. Just being real with you guys and with myself and my old-time subscribers especially. I made just flat-out rant videos about how much I hated candidates at the time. Yeah, I'm not gonna make those kind of videos anymore. I didn't make this video to tell you who to vote for or even to vote in the first place. Like I said, I didn't vote today. I did make this video though not to tell you guys I'm not an apolitical person. I have a lot of very strong opinions on a lot of current subjects that fill the news nowadays, but I don't really I'm not gonna back down from my views, but I don't like telling others that they're wrong for disagreeing with me. I didn't make this video to start an argument or a debate with you guys in the comments or state my opinion and ask you guys change my mind on it. And I'm not asking you guys I'm not gonna if you guys want to express your views in the comments down below, I'm not gonna waste my time changing yours either. I just made this video to encourage you guys to try to not be fearmongered or try to fearmonger others. I respect everyone regardless of their views, whether you lean, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or liberal or a conservative or on the left, on the right, or if you're independent or centrist or third party or whatever else. I respect everyone's views. I respect people's right to believe those things, because ultimately everyone has an understandable reason as to why they view the things they view, even if it's a particular stance or they take a side that I strongly disagree with. There's probably a good reason as to why that is. And whenever I I'm at a disagreement with somebody, I don't want to like argue with them or debate them because first of all, I'm really bad at changing people's minds on things. I'll just admit that to you guys right now. And you know, like I said, they probably have like an understandable reason as to why they believe the things they believe. And then, you know what? Talking to those people really helps me grow. And it helps me become more wise and enlightened because like way too often I see people just like stuck in echo chambers. Like people treat their respective end of the political compass, like I said, whether it's to the left, right, or anywhere else, like it's a religion or a sports team. And I've met like people who would vote, like, you know, I swear, I meet people who like take insults to the respective presidential candidate they voted for worse than the presidential candidate themselves. Way too often, like way more times than I've liked to, I've seen people like complain or like tell me about times they've been like prejudiced or been treated unfairly for their respective views, or been like name called, taunted, cursed out, screamed at, or been like the receiving end of like whatever sort of like tirade from another person, or have even been like assaulted or given death threats. But they have no problem doing those things themselves. That upsets me because like the hypocrisy is just ridiculous, and the people are lacking of self-awareness to realize like how hypocritical it can be. I can't help but notice that people who grow up in certain environments, like people who grow up in a very like rigid household, like whether their parents like shove like the parents shove their views down their kids' throats, they either grow up become like, I can't help but notice that those kind of people, they grow up to become either like carbon copies of what they were raised with and don't change their views and just like ignorantly regurgitate those views from their parents by just saying, oh, it's how I was raised, or when they get older they become the complete opposite. And those people are equally as like, you know, equally as annoying in my opinion, because like they think they're so like smart and like enlightened, or dare I say woke. They are just as ignorant as the people that they criticize. Like they're no worse than their parents and relatives who indoctrinated with the stuff they were raised with, because a black sheep is still just a sheep. Thinking for yourself is not like simply blindly following the views that you were told like as a child, nor is it simply just embracing the opposite. Truly thinking for yourself is taking the initiative to familiarize yourself with as many different views as possible and pick the ones that you believe make the most sense. A wise person once told me that like whenever you're at like an argument or like a debate with somebody, if you guys like disagree on something, the moment you start yelling and cursing at the person you're arguing with is the moment you lose. And one of my like favorite like new analogies, I saw this analogy like over a year ago, so I take no credit for this, that like you get a jar full of ants, right? If you have a jar full of black ants and red ants, the two like colors of ants, they're not gonna see each other as like predator or prey. They won't mind each other. It's when you take the jar and start shaking it violently, then the ants will just turn on each other. The red ants will try to kill the black ants, and the black ants will try to kill the red ants. And so we gotta look at all these like divisions, because this whole like, I really am sick of this whole like, oh, you're either with us or against us mentality in this country. This idea like, oh, there's only ever two sides to every issue. Like, oh, if you're not a conservative, you must be a liberal, or if you're like if you're not a Democrat, you must automatically be a Republican. And you're like, oh, you look at all these like binaries, the left, the right, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, libertarian, authoritarian, white people versus POCs, Christians versus atheists versus every other religion that exists, men versus women, or cisgendered heterosexual people with it versus the LGBTQ plus community, meat eaters, vegans, pro-choice, pro-life, gun control, gun rights, big government, small government, like whatever other like hot button issues you can think of. You gotta ask yourself something. All this hatred and all this hostility and disrespect that like we keep seeing, like who shook the jar in the first place? I'm just gonna end by saying this, you know, kind of tying back to like my first point was don't let others try to like, you know, pressure you into believing a certain way just because you feel like you have to just follow what they say like a sheep. But at the same time, don't do that same thing yourself. If someone has a view that you don't agree with, instead of acting like a child and like dismissing that person as an idiot or saying like, oh, you disagree with what I have to say, like, or you didn't like vote for the same person I voted for, like you're a horrible person and I hate you, like, no, why not offer that person a cup of tea? and sit down with them and discuss with them, smile with them, joke with them, and find out why they feel the way they feel and learn from it. And you know what? If you disagree with anything that I said in this video, well, go ahead and give this video a dislike and leave all the hate comments you want, or unsubscribe from my channel. That's your choice to make. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, I thank you very kindly for taking the time to listen to me speak on this November 8th. And yeah, we're in for an interesting 2 years. We'll see how things play out for our great nation. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and stay beastly.